The envelope was thick, too thick. Ava Collins stared at it, her fingers trembling slightly as she opened it. Inside cash, more money than she had seen in months, maybe years. Her heartbeat quickened. "This is just the advance," the woman across the table said calmly. Ava looked up. The woman was elegant, cold, and perfectly composed, dressed in a designer suit, eyes sharp like she was used to controlling every situation she walked into. "What exactly do you want me to do?" Ava asked, her voice cautious. The woman smiled faintly. "I want you to make someone fall in love with you," she said. Ava blinked. "And then break him." Silence filled the room. Ava let out a dry laugh. "You're joking." "I never joke about business." The woman slid a photo across the table. A man, late 20s, calm eyes, a quiet kind of confidence in his expression. Ethan Brooks. Ava frowned slightly. He doesn't look like someone who deserves that. The woman's smile faded. "That's not your concern." Ava leaned back, crossing her arms. "Why him?" The woman's eyes darkened. "Because he needs to learn what it feels like to lose everything." Ava's stomach tightened. This wasn't just some harmless game. This was personal. Dangerously personal. "I'm not a homewrecker," Ava said firmly. "You're desperate," the woman replied instantly. That hit harder than Ava expected. Images flashed through her mind. Unpaid rent, bills piling up, her younger sister needing medicine she couldn't afford. Reality didn't care about morals. Reality cared about survival. The woman leaned forward slightly. "You get close to him. Make him trust you. Make him fall for you," she said, her voice smooth but cold. "And when he does, you walk away." A pause. "And you get the rest of the money." Ava stared at the photo again. Ethan Brooks. He looked normal, kind even. "Why me?" she asked quietly. The woman smirked. "Because you have something most people don't." Ava frowned. "What?" "You feel real," she said. "Men like him don't fall for perfection. They fall for authenticity. And you're believable." That didn't feel like a compliment. Ava closed her eyes for a moment. This was wrong. Completely wrong. But the money could fix everything. Slowly, she picked up the envelope. Her decision made. "I'll do it," she said quietly. The woman smiled again, this time satisfied. "Good," she said. "Just remember, don't fall in love." Ava let out a soft breath. That won't happen. But deep down, something didn't feel right. A few days later, a small bookstore cafe. Soft music. Warm light. Peaceful. That's where she saw him for the first time. Ethan Brooks. Sitting alone. Reading. Completely unaware that someone had just been paid to break his heart. Ava took a deep breath, fixed her expression, and walked toward him. "Is this seat taken?" she asked softly. Ethan looked up. Their eyes met. And in that 1 second, something unexpected happened. He smiled. Simple. Genuine. Real. And for the first time, Ava hesitated. Because this didn't feel like a game anymore. It felt like the beginning of something she might not be able to control. Broken heart. She was paid to break his heart. But what would you do? Forgive her or walk away forever? Backhand index pointing right. Comment your choice below. Fire, don't forget to like and subscribe for more emotional stories that hit deep. The first conversation was supposed to be simple, short, casual, forgettable. That's how Ava Collins had planned it. But nothing about Ethan Brooks felt simple. "No, it's not taken," he said, closing his book slightly. "You can sit." His voice was calm, warm, not guarded, not suspicious, just open. Ava smiled politely and sat across from him, placing her bag gently on the chair beside her. "Thanks," she said. She had done this before, talking to strangers, reading people, knowing exactly what to say to make them feel comfortable. It was almost like a skill, a performance, and she was good at it. "So," Ethan said, tilting his head slightly, "do you always sit with strangers, or am I just lucky today?" Ava let out a soft laugh. "Maybe a little of both." "Good." Flirty, but not too much. Natural. Controlled. But then he smiled again, and for some reason it threw her off. "What are you reading?" she asked, trying to keep things moving. He held up the book. "A novel about second chances," he said. "I guess I like stories where people get things right the second time." Ava's chest tightened slightly. Second chances. She wondered if people like him even needed them. Do you believe in that? She asked quietly. Ethan shrugged. I think everyone deserves one, he said, even if they don't think they do. That wasn't the answer she expected. Most people answered casually, but he meant it. You could hear it in his voice. And suddenly, Ava didn't feel like she was playing a role anymore. They talked longer than she planned. About small things at first, coffee, books, random stories. But slowly, the conversation shifted. It got deeper, real. Ethan told her about his work, not in detail, but enough to show he cared about what he did. He talked about building something of his own, about not relying on anyone else. About trust. I don't let people in easily, he admitted at one point. Ava felt her heart skip. That made this harder. But when I do, he continued, I don't expect them to stay perfect. I just expect them to be honest. Honest. The word echoed in her mind like a warning. Ava forced a small smile. That's rare, she said. Ethan looked at her, studying her for just a second longer than normal. Yeah, he said softly. It is. Something shifted in that moment. Something dangerous. Days turned into more meetings. Then habits. Then something that looked a lot like connection. They started seeing each other regularly. Same cafe. Same table. But now it wasn't planned. It just happened. Ava learned things about him she wasn't supposed to care about. Like how he always ordered the same coffee but never finished it. How he smiled more when he talked about other people than when he talked about himself. How he listened, really listened, like what you said actually mattered. And Ethan, he started opening up. Slowly, carefully. But he did. You're easy to talk to, he told her one evening. Ava looked down at her cup. If only he knew why. The plan was working. Perfectly. Too perfectly. But something was wrong. Because every time he smiled, every time he trusted her, every time he looked at her like she was someone real, it didn't feel like a job anymore. It felt like a lie. That night, Ava sat alone in her apartment, staring at her phone. A message from the woman sat unread. Progress. Just one word. Cold. Direct. Ava typed back slowly. He trusts me. She hesitated. Then added. It won't be hard. But as soon as she sent it, her chest tightened. Because for the first time, it would be hard. Very hard. The next day, Ethan surprised her. Come with me, he said. Ava frowned slightly. Where? You'll see. They ended up at a quiet park, far from the noise of the city. No crowds. No distractions. Just silence and space. Ethan sat down on the grass, looking up at the sky. Ava hesitated, then sat beside him. This is my place, he said. When things get too loud, I come here. Ava looked around. It was peaceful, safe, real, just like him. Why bring me here? She asked softly. Ethan turned his head, looking straight at her. Because I trust you. Her breath caught. And in that moment, everything inside her started to fall apart. Because she wasn't supposed to feel this way. She wasn't supposed to care. She wasn't supposed to hesitate. But she did. And for the first time since she took the deal, Ava Collins realized something terrifying. If she kept going, she wouldn't just break his heart. She would break her own too. The message came late at night. Ava stared at her phone, her heart already racing before she even opened it. It's time. Just 2 words. But they felt like a countdown. She knew what it meant. No more waiting. No more getting closer. The moment had come to do exactly what she was paid for. Make him fall. And then break him. Ava closed her eyes, gripping her phone tightly. Everything had gone exactly as planned. Ethan Brooks trusted her. More than that, he cared about her. Deeply. And that was the problem. Because somewhere along the way, she started caring too. The next morning, Ava sat across from Ethan in the cafe. Same table. Same quiet atmosphere. But nothing felt the same anymore. Ethan smiled when he saw her. That same genuine smile. The one that made her chest ache now, instead of feel in control. You look tired, he said softly. I didn't sleep much, she admitted. He frowned slightly. Everything okay? There it was again. That concern. That honesty. Ava forced a small nod. Yeah, just thinking. Ethan leaned back slightly, studying her. "You've been doing that a lot lately," he said. Her heart skipped. Was he noticing? Did he feel it too? The shift, the tension, the unspoken truth building between them? "Thinking isn't always a bad thing," she replied quietly. "Depends on what you're thinking about," he said. She looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time, she saw exactly what she was about to destroy. That night, Ava met the woman again. Same place, same cold energy. "Well," the woman asked, her tone sharp. "Is he ready?" Ava hesitated, just for a second, but the woman noticed. "Don't tell me you've gotten attached," she said, her voice dropping dangerously low. Ava swallowed hard. "It's under control." The woman leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "You were paid to do a job, not to feel." Those words hit harder than they should have. "I know," Ava said quietly. "Good," the woman replied. "Then finish it." She slid another envelope across the table. Thicker this time. Heavier. "End it tomorrow," she said. "Make him fall completely. And then walk away." Ava stared at the money. This was everything she needed. Her problems gone. Her struggles over. A better life. A secure future. All she had to do was break him. The next evening, Ava stood in front of Ethan's apartment. Her heart pounded like it was trying to stop her. "This is it." She knocked. The door opened. Ethan smiled the moment he saw her. "Hey, I wasn't expecting you." That smile, that warmth, that trust. It almost broke her right there. "Can I come in?" she asked softly. "Of course," he said, stepping aside. Inside, everything felt calm, safe, like a place where nothing bad should ever happen. But she was about to change that. They sat down, closer than before. Ethan looked at her, something different in his eyes tonight. Something deeper. "Ava," he started, then paused. Her heart stopped. "I was actually going to call you," he said. "Why?" she asked, her voice barely steady. He smiled slightly, nervous this time. "I think I'm falling for you." Everything inside her shattered. This was it. The moment. The point of no return. Say it back. Make him believe. Then leave. That was the plan. Ava opened her mouth, but no words came out, because for the first time, this wasn't part of the act. Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. Ethan frowned, confused. "Ava?" She shook her head, standing up quickly. "I can't." "Can't what?" he asked, standing too. She looked at him, really looked at him, like she was seeing him for the last time. "I can't do this," she whispered. Ethan's expression changed. Confusion, then concern. "Do what?" Her voice broke. "Lie to you." Silence. Everything froze. Because in that moment, Ava made her choice. And it wasn't the one she was paid for. "I need to tell you the truth," she said, tears falling freely now. Ethan's heart was already starting to break. He just didn't know why yet. And Ava knew. The next words she said would either save him or destroy them both. The room felt smaller, like the walls were closing in around them. Ethan Brooks stood still, his eyes locked on Ava, confused, tense, already bracing for something he didn't understand yet. And Ava Collins? She was shaking, because this was it. No more hiding, no more pretending, just the truth. "I wasn't supposed to meet you by accident," she said, her voice breaking. Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" Ava took a step back, like she needed distance just to say the words. "I was sent to you," she whispered. Silence. Ethan didn't react at first. Not because he didn't hear her, but because his mind refused to understand. "Sent?" he repeated slowly. Ava nodded, tears falling now. "There's someone, a woman. She paid me." The words hit hard. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Paid you for what?" Ava closed her eyes for a second, then forced herself to say it. "To make you fall in love with me." A pause. "And then break your heart." The silence that followed was deafening. Ethan stepped back like the ground beneath him had shifted. Every moment, every conversation, every smile. Suddenly, nothing felt safe anymore. "So all of this," he said quietly, his voice hollow, "was just a plan?" Ava shook her head quickly. "It started that way," she said. "But it didn't stay that way." Ethan let out a bitter breath, running a hand through his hair. "That's supposed to make it better?" "No," she admitted. "It's not." His eyes filled with something deeper now. Not just anger. Hurt. Real, raw hurt. I trusted you, he said. That hurt more than anything. I know, Ava whispered. And I didn't deserve that. But I swear to you, what I feel now is real. Ethan laughed, but there was no humor in it. How do I believe that? Ava stepped closer, her voice trembling but desperate. Because I didn't finish it. He looked at her sharply. I was supposed to say tonight, she said. I was supposed to make you believe I loved you, and then disappear. Ethan's chest tightened. But I couldn't, she continued. Because somewhere along the way, I actually fell for you. Silence again. This time, heavier. More painful. Ethan looked at her, searching her face, looking for a lie, for something fake. But all he saw was truth. And regret. And something that looked a lot like love. Who is she? He asked finally. Ava hesitated, then said it. The woman who hired me is connected to your past. Ethan's expression changed. Something clicked. My father's company, he said slowly. Ava nodded. She blames you for something that happened years ago. She wanted revenge, and I was just the easiest way to get to you. Ethan exhaled sharply, the pieces falling into place. So I was just a target, he muttered. Ava shook her head immediately. No, not to me. He looked at her again, and this time his eyes softened. Just slightly. You should have told me sooner, he said quietly. I know, she whispered. I was scared of losing you, and of what would happen if I didn't finish the job. Ethan studied her for a long moment, then asked the question that mattered most. If I hadn't said anything tonight. A pause. Would you have gone through with it? Ava didn't answer right away, because the truth mattered now more than ever. I don't know, she admitted. That hurt, but it was honest. Another long silence. Then Ethan took a step closer. Not angry, not distant, just human. You hurt me, he said. Tears slipped down Ava's face. I know, but you also told me the truth when you didn't have to, he added. She looked up at him, surprised. That has to mean something, he said quietly. Hope flickered. Small, fragile, but there. I don't know if I can trust you again, Ethan continued. Ava nodded slowly. I understand. But I know this, he said. What we had, it felt real. And maybe what we still have could be real too. Her breath caught. But this time, he added, no lies. No secrets. Not even small ones. Ava stepped closer, her voice steady now despite the tears. No more lies, she promised. Ethan looked at her one last time. Then, slowly, he reached for her hand. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But a chance. And sometimes, a chance is more powerful than an ending. Because love doesn't survive perfection. It survives truth. Even when it hurts. As they stood there, two broken people choosing to try again. Ava realized something she hadn't understood before. She was paid to break his heart. But in the end, telling the truth was what saved it.